This call is now being recorded.
Okay, good afternoon all. So in the last lecture we have started with a new point which is related to the productivity. So the productivity is one of the standard tool in order to check the output of any industry or any type of organization, and already we have discussed that it is the attitude of your mind. So whatever the three inputs are there, maybe man, machine, material. So these three input, if they are works together in effective manner, then and then there is a possibility to increase the productivity. Because if we are increasing the number of inputs, and at the time, if your productivity is increases, at that time we cannot say that the productivity is increased because your inputs resources are also increased. But in minimum resources, in minimum input, if your output is maximum, then and then only we can say that your productivity goes on increasing. Therefore we are having the standard definition that it is the ratio of output upon input, and your productivity is directly proportional to the output parameter. Sometimes what happen, your output is increases, but to increase that particular output we have to increase the input resources also. But your output is increased, but we cannot say that your productivity is increased, because what happened, in order to increase that particular output we have increased the number of input parameters. But what is our requirement? In minimum number of input parameters, if I will achieve the maximum output, and if that output is directly proportional to productivity, then I can say that your productivity goes on increasing. Therefore here we have discussed about some of the important definitions. So three definitions we have discussed, that is, the productivity means we have to provide more and everything to the each and every people with less and less resources. So as per the customer requirement, as per their requirements needs, so for that purpose we have to go for the market survey, and according to the market survey we have to identify the need of the customers, and we have to satisfy the needs of the customers in all respects. But while satisfying that all these particular needs, we have to provide, or we have to use minimum resources. If in minimum resources if we will satisfy all the requirements of the customer, then we can say that your productivity goes on increasing. So this is the meaning of the first definition. Then second definition, brought all the resources together in the organization. Which are the three important resources? That is man, machine and material. So if I will brought all the three resources in the organization in and if all these particular resources are works in the effective manner in order to achieve our objective, then we can say that the productivity increases. And also once your productivity increases, the productivity is the multiplier effect of efficiency and the effectiveness. If the productivity increases, then we can say that your organization is working in the effective manner. If the organization is working in the effective manner, the efficiency of that particular organization is also goes on increasing. That we have discussed in the last lecture. Then productivity measures. So the productivity measures means the efficiency of any organization can be tested or it can be verified by measuring its productivity. If I have to check the efficiency of organization or any industry, or if I have to go for the testing their effectiveness, or if I have to measure the output, at that time I am going to measure the productivity of that particular organization, or I am going to test the productivity of that particular organization. Therefore for that purpose we have to find out the productivity of different input parameters. We know that there are so many input parameters are there. For example, labor is one of the input, then capital investment, it is also one of the input, material, raw material, it is also one of the input, then energy, it is also one of the input. That means so many inputs are there. If all these inputs are works together, then and then only there is only one output in the form of finished products or the finished goods. So if I have to calculate the partial productivity of each and every input, for example, if I have to calculate the labor productivity, so I am having the basic formula of the productivity, output upon input. But if I have to calculate the productivity of only labor, then I am having the formula, that is labor productivity is equal to total output upon labor input. Now the labor input can be measured in the form of number of hours that laborers are working. If I have to calculate the capital productivity, that means how much amount of capital investment you have invested in the industry, and if I have to measure its productivity, that time capital productivity is equal to total output upon capital input. Similarly for the material productivity is equal to total output upon material input. Energy productivity is equal to total output upon energy input. That means whatever the number of input parameters are there, based on this particular input parameters, we can separately find out the productivity of each and every input. And out of that, all these inputs, your labor and the capital, this plays very important role. Whatever your labor input is there, that means skilled operators, non-skilled operators, unskilled operators, it plays very important role. In addition to that, your capital investment, these are the two input resources which plays very important role. And sometimes the labor productivity can be increases. Why labor productivity can be increases? Because we are providing only skilled operators. If we have to provide the skilled operator, your capital investment can be increases. Because what happen if unskilled operators are working on the machines, there may be possibility of wastage, there may be possibility of breakage of the tool, or there may be possibility to increase the production cost, because some unskilled operators are operating that machines, so they are unable to operate that machines, so some problems are arises. So in order to avoid such situations, only we have to provide the standard laborers, those are having the good skills or they can handle the machines. If we have to provide the skilled operators, your capital investment can be increases, because we have to provide or we have to give the maximum salary to the skilled operator as compared to the unskilled operator. Therefore your labor and the capital, this plays very important role in the input parameters. But sometimes your labor productivity can be increases, and at another side your capital productivity can be decreases. That also we have discussed in the last lecture. Now we'll discuss about the basic difference between the production and the productivity. The production and the productivity, these are the two terms which are exactly opposite to each other. They are not correlated with each other, because the production is one of the process, or it is the procedure to transfer the input parameters or inputs into the set out outputs in the desired utility and the quality. The production is one of the process, or it is one of the procedure which transferred the input into the output. That means whatever the raw material is there, that raw material is converted into the finished goods or the finished products. That process is called as a production. And whatever the product you will get at the final stage, that product should have some desired quality, or it is having some desired utility. Desired quality means whatever the output you are getting, that output or that particular product, it should have good quality. If the quality is not maintained while manufacturing, that product will not be accepted in the market. So we have to maintain their quality. In addition to that, we have to focus on their utility also, because we are producing the product, but what is the use of that particular product? So first of all, before manufacturing, we have to check its utility, whether that product is useful for the market or that particular product is useful for the customer or not. That utility first of all we have to check, and then only we have to go for the manufacturing. Therefore the production, it is one of the process, or it is one of the procedure to convert the raw material into the finished goods. Also the production is the value addition process. The production is the value addition process, because sometimes the standard manufacturing processes are there. Sometimes some manufacturing processes are taking the so many times to convert the raw material into the finished goods. At that time, in that particular manufacturing process, we can provide some additional processes. So due to that particular processes, we can eliminate the ineffective time. So your raw material can be converted into the finished goods in minimum amount of time. Therefore, the production is the process of conversion of raw material into the finished goods. So here I have represented in the form of graphical manner also. At the left side, there is a input parameters are there. Then in between input and output, there is a transformation process. And at the end, there is the output. Input means there are so many inputs are there. That is man, machine, material, knowledge, then capital investment. These are the so many inputs, but there is only one output. What is that particular output? Finished products or the finished goods. But to convert that particular input into the output, this transformation process means whatever the process we are using, whatever the manufacturing process we are using, that manufacturing process plays very important role to convert that input into the output. And the concept of production and productivity are totally different. The concept of production and the productivity are totally different. The production is only related to the output. The production is the term which is related to the only output. While taking the production, I am not thinking about how much input is given. While focusing or while calculating the production of any industry, I am not thinking about how much amount of input is given. If I have to increase the production, I have to increase the input parameters. But in order to increase that particular production, how much input I have to increase, that factor will not be considered in the production process. Only I have to focus on the output. But if I have to check the productivity is the term which is related to the output, but it is expressed in terms of input parameters. Your productivity is equal to output upon input. So your output is directly proportional to the productivity. If output is increases, automatically productivity is also increases. But in order to check that productivity, whether it is increases or decreases, I have to focus on the input parameters. Sometimes in order to increase the output, we are giving the maximum input. Means your input is also increases. Due to the increase in input, your output is also increases. But I cannot say that your productivity is goes on increasing. When I can say that my productivity is high in minimum number of input, if my output is maximum, I am repeating, in minimum number of input, if my output is maximum, then and then only I can say that the productivity is increases. And exactly opposite, my output is increases, but to increase that particular output, the input parameters are also increases. At that time, I cannot say that the productivity is increases. Therefore, the production and the productivity, these two terms are different to each other. The production is the term which is related to the only output. If I have to increase the production, I am not thinking about how much amount of input is required. Only I have to increase the production, I have to increase it. But if I have to increase the productivity, I have to increase the output, but in minimum number of inputs. Therefore, the production and the productivity, these are the two terms which are different from the each other. Okay. And if the production and the productivity, if I will compare this particular both terms, and when I can say that my production is increases, that the increasing production may or may not be indicator of increasing the productivity. If my production is increased, then I sometimes I can say that my productivity is also increases. But sometimes I can say that the productivity cannot be increases. If the production is increases, to increase that particular production, if my input resources are less, to increase the production, if my input resources are less, then I can say that the productivity can be increased. But to increase the production, if my input resources are also increases, at that time I cannot say that the productivity can be increased. Therefore, sometimes the production may or may not be increase your productivity. And if I have to increase the productivity, the first term, when your production can be increased without decrease in input, sorry, without increase in input. Here increase is there. When the production can be increased without increasing input, then I can say that the productivity can be increases. Production with decrease in input, productivity आपण कधी वाढले असं म्हणतोय, जर तुमचे इनपुट पॅरामीटर जर डिक्रीज झाले, then and then only I can say that the productivity can be increased. And third one is the rate of increase in output is more than rate of increase in input. The rate of increase in output, that means if your output rate is more as compared to the rate of input parameters, then also I can say that your productivity can be increased. That means from all these particular three parameters, we can easily say that if your output is increases in minimum input, if your output is increases in minimum input, then and then only I can say that the productivity can be increased. But your output is also increased, your input parameters are also increased, it is not possible to say that your productivity can be increased. So this is about the part related to the productivity, and we have discussed about the basic definition, that is productivity is equal to total output upon total input. So in that we have discussed about the basic definitions, their basic concepts, their important definition also we have discussed. These are the three definitions which are in front of you. Then we have discussed about the productivity measures, because we are giving the so many inputs, and for each and every input, if I have to calculate the productivity. So we are having the standard formula. Productivity is equal to output upon input. But there are so many inputs are there. According to the number of inputs, here I have written the formula for the each and every input. Then we have discussed about the basic difference between the production and the productivity. These are the two terms which are not similar to each other. The production term is different, productivity term is different. The production is measured in the form of output only. The productivity, it is also measured in the form of output, but at the same time, the input parameters are also considered. That difference also we have discussed in the concept of the production and the productivity. Then when the productivity can be increased, that part also we have discussed, and from this particular 3 points we can easily say that in minimum rate of inputs, if your output is maximum, then and then only I can say that your productivity can be increased. So this is about the productivity. Now there are some factors are there which are effects on the productivity, because sometimes some internal factor, some external factor are there which are effects on the total productivity. Internal factor means it can be controllable, and external factor means it cannot be controllable. That means whatever the factors are in your hand, we can easily control, we can easily manage. That factors are called as an internal factor, or we can call it as a controllable. It is in your hand to control it. But some of the other or external factors are there which are uncontrollable. It is not in your hand, or it is not in the hand of the organization that factors can be controlled. Now we'll discuss about the various factors which are effects on the productivity. Basically that factors are divided into the two groups, that is internal factor, which is also called as a controllable. That is, first one is the internal factor, and the second is called as a external factor, which is called as a uncontrollable factors. So now initially we'll discuss about the internal factors, which are the controllable factors. Controllable means it is in the hand of the organization, or it is in our hand. That means if all these internal factors we can manage in proper way, then it affects on the productivity. In that, the first point is there, that is product or the product design. Whatever the internal factors we are discussing now, which are the controllable, in that the first factor is the product or the product design. Now products means whatever the finished goods we are taking from the raw material. So to convert that particular raw material, we have to use the standard process, or we have to use the standard manufacturing processes. By using that particular standard processes, we are converting the raw material into the finished goods. But in that, which type of products we are converting, whether it is having that much amount of quality, or whether it is having that much amount of utility in the market, based on this we have to manufacture the product. Because sometimes what happen, we are manufacturing the product, but that product is not accepting in the market. Why? Because that much use is not there for that particular product. This is the one thing. And the quality of product is very less as compared to the another product. Because sometimes what happen, similar type of products are there in the market, and quality of your product is very less as compared to the another product. Maybe their cost, if you are manufacturing the product and cost of your product is very high, and similar to you, the another organization is also developing the same product, but its cost is very less, means your product will not be accepted in the market, maybe due to his cost, due to his quality, due to his utility. So the first factor, that is product, which type of products we have to manufacture in the industry, that factor, that internal factor, it also affects on the productivity. So for that purpose, what we have to do, first of all, we have to go for the market survey. From that particular market survey, we have to identify the requirement of the customer, and as per the requirement of the customer, we have to manufacture the product. So this is about the product. Then product design. Product design means which type of the design we are using to manufacture that particular product. Because initially, before manufacturing, we have to design that particular product, and in that particular design, which types of the factors we are considering to design that particular product. That means your product and its design, these are the controllable factors. Because if you have to manufacture the product, initially we have to prepare its design, and afterwards if we have to do the modification in the product, it is not possible to do the modification directly in the product. So first of all, we have to do the modification in its design. Then according to the new design, we have to manufacture the new product. Therefore, your product and its design, it plays very important role in order to increase the productivity. And that factor, this product and the product design, it is the internal factor. We can control it because in your organization, the design engineers are there. That design engineers can work on that particular product. He can modify the product as per the customer requirement, and again the new product can be manufactured by using the new process. Then second, plant and the equipment, it is also one of the internal factor. Plant and the equipment, which type of plant we have to maintain, because sometimes whatever the plant we have invested, for that particular plant we are having the maximum maintenance. Whatever the plants we have formed, or whatever the organization, whatever the industry we have formed, for that particular organization, sometimes the maintenance cost is more. So in order to reduce that particular maintenance cost, we have to provide the proper plants, proper plant layout, due to which there should not be any repetitive movements. Sometimes what happens, some of the operations or some of the products are there, they are coming back again and again. That means a repetitive movement is taking place. That means from workstation 1 to workstation 2, from 2 to 3, and again from 3 again it is coming back to the workstation number 1. That means repetitive movement is taking place. Why such types of the repetitive movements is taking place? Because your plant is not properly designed. So as per the requirement of the product, as per its flow, we have to go for the proper plant design, and it is in your hand. It is not a external factor, it is in your hand. That means as per the proper flow, we have to prepare the proper plant of that particular product. And the equipments, whatever the equipments we are using, or sometimes availability of equipments. Some of the equipments are available which are operated manually. Some equipments are available which are automatically operated. Maybe we can consider it as a CNC and VMC. So which type of equipments we have to use to convert the raw material into the finished goods, it also considered as a internal factor. It is in your organization, it is in your hand. If I have to use the hand operated machine, obviously it is affects on the total productivity, because by using the hand operated machines, that much finishing, that much output will not be accepted. But if I will use the CNC, VMC, so CNC, VMC are totally computerized operated. So to manufacture the components by using the CNC and VMC, very less amount of time is required. So if I will provide the proper equipments or standard machineries, automatically that factor can be controlled and it affects on the total productivity. Then technology. Third point is the technology. So which type of technology we are using, whether we are using the latest technology or whether we are going the outgoing technology. Because sometimes in the industry, so whatever the processes we are using, maybe manufacturing process, maybe design process, maybe some quality checking process, so many techniques are there in the industry, so many technologies are there. So which type of technology we are using? If you are using the old technology, obviously that old technology affects on the total productivity, because through this particular old technology, maybe you require the maximum time, maybe your production cost is increases, maybe there is a maximum wastage of the material. But if I will use the advanced technology, so in that, through this particular advanced technology, I can manufacture the products by using the standard machineries, by using the automation. And then if I will provide the standard machineries, so due to that particular standard machineries, there is a less wastage. Means your technology, it also plays very important role in order to increase the productivity. So technology may be new technology, a technology may be the older technology. So whatever the technology we are using, it also plays very important role. In addition to that, in the technology, one point is also considered, is material handling devices. Material handling devices, it is one of the standard techniques. So standard material handling devices are available, that is trolley, cranes, tractors. Using of all these material handling devices means using the new technology. But if we are handling all the equipments, all the components by using the human beings, that means if we are using the labors to transfer the material or to transport the material from one location to the another location means we are using the old technology. That means your technology, it also plays very important role in order to achieve the maximum productivity, and it is also in your hand. It is the internal factor, it is controllable. Which type of technology is used in the industry, it is in your hand. We have to decide that, or that management or that particular supervisor, he has to decide that whether we have to use the advanced technology or whether we have to use the old technology. Then next factor is the human factor, means labors. Simply, human factors means labors. Which type of labors we are using? Whether we are using the quality labors, skilled laborers, or semi-skilled laborers. If we are using unskilled laborers, obviously that unskilled laborers are unable to operate the standard CNC, VMC machine or the automated machines. If they are unable to operate, automatically there is a wastage, there is a breakage of the tool, and automatically your production cost is increases. If the production cost is increases, output is decreases, and productivity is also goes on decreasing. Therefore, human factor, which type of labors we are using in the industry, that labors, that particular operators, it also plays very important role. Therefore, wherever the skilled operators are required, for example, if the CNC, VMC, some automatic machineries are there in your organization or in your industry, for such types of the machines we have to provide the skilled operators. And wherever the unskilled operators are required, for example, to transport the small components from one location to the another location, or to handle the material handling devices, or to bring the raw material from the store to that particular machine, for such types of the activities, if I will use the unskilled operator, no problem. But to handle the standard machineries, automated machineries, you have to provide the skilled operator. And this factor also, it is in your hand, which types of labors we have to hire in the industry. If we are having the skilled operators, automatically your productivity increases. If we are not using the skilled operators, automatically your productivity decreases. Therefore, it is in the management hand. Wherever the skilled operators are required, we have to provide the skilled operators. Wherever the non-skilled operator is required, so for that particular task we can provide the non-skilled operator. Therefore, the human factor, it also plays very important role. Then work study. Work study, already we have discussed. The work study is one of the component, or it is furtherly divided into the two types. Work study, it is divided into two types. The first one is a method study. Method study means to eliminate the unnecessary operations, and from that we have to develop the new method to eliminate the unnecessary operations from the production process. And from that, if I will develop the new method, that concept is called as a method study, which is one of the type of work study. And second is the work measurement. Work measurement means to measure the standard time required to perform the number of operations. Work measurement means measurement of work, means measurement of standard time required to perform the number of operation. That concept is called as a work measurement. Therefore, the work study is furtherly divided into the two types. That is, first one is a method study, which is called as a eliminate the unnecessary operations, and work measurement means eliminate the unnecessary time or the ineffective time. So this both concept will be considered in the terms of work study, and it is in your hand. Whatever the unnecessary operations are there, that unnecessary operations we can eliminate. These are the controllable. And work measurement means it is in your hand. How much amount of time is required to perform that particular operation. That time also we can measure. It is the controllable factor. एखादी मेथड जर आपल्याला मॉडिफाय करायची असेल तर ती मॉडिफाय करताना आपल्याला कुठले कुठले ऑपरेशन इलिमिनेट करायचे, इट इज इन अवर हँड. So this work study, it will be, or that particular method study, it will be considered under the internal factor. Similarly, work measurement, how much amount of time is required to perform the job. So to measure that particular time, we can use the standard techniques. So it is also in our hand. That is, we can measure the how much amount of time is required. So the method study and the work measurement, both are comes under the category of work method. Therefore, this work method is also one of the internal factor which will be controllable. Then next is the material. Obviously material, it plays very important role, or it is one of the important input resource. Material is one of the important input resource. It is also one of the internal factor. If the raw material is available in mass quantity, according to the input we can achieve the maximum output. If raw material is not present in the industry, it is not possible to use that particular equipments. Standard equipments are available, skilled operators are available, standard CNC, standard VMC machines are available, but raw material is not available in the industry. And what is the use of the standard machines? What is the use of skilled operator? What is the use of CNC VMC? So your material, it also plays very important role. So how much amount of output we have to achieve in one day or in 1 week, as per the requirement of output, we have to make availability of the input parameters or the input material. If input is or input material is available in mass quantity, as per the input we can achieve the maximum output. Therefore this material is also one of the internal factor, and it will be the controllable, which is in your hand. The material, it is one of the internal factor which is in your hand, how much availability of material is available in the industry. So this material is also plays very important role in order to increase the productivity. Then next is the management style. Management style means there should be the proper relation, proper communication between management, supervisor and the workers. If there is no any proper relation between management, supervisor and the worker, the effective utilization will not be taking place. If there is no proper relation between the laborers and the supervisors, so laborers, they cannot be works in the effective manner. They can work in any condition. Maybe sometimes they will start the job and they are wandering here and there. Means they are not works in the effective manner. If they are not working in the effective manner, automatically sometimes there may be possibility of accidents. If the workers are not doing their job in the effective manner, there may be possibility of accident, there may be possibility of breakage. So there should be the proper relation between the management, supervisors and the laborers. So whatever the new technologies are coming in the industry, that new technologies we have to introduce to that particular workers, so that workers can aware about the new technology and they can use the new technology or new equipments for the manufacturing processes. In addition to that, whatever the number of hours are there, whatever the number of hours are there, as per the standard, that worker has to work for 8 or maximum 10 hours, but the management is taking the work more than 10 or 10 more than 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, 13 hours, 15 hours, like that. Means that workers cannot be works in the effective manner, and if they are not works in the effective manner, automatically it will be affects on the productivity. Therefore which type of management style we are implemented in the industry, this is also one of the internal factor, and it is the controllable. Therefore we have to provide the proper relation between management, supervisors and the workers, and there should be the standard of procedures, there should be the standard of policies, there should be the standard of process, there should be the standard policies. Means if any worker is doing the overtiming work, so for that overtime we have to provide the additional charges to them. And whatever the systems are there, that system should be the flexible system. If any worker has to ask some of the basic information to the supervisor, so he can easily ask. If he has to discuss with management, so he can easily that means the friendly environment should be there in the industry, and it will be considered as a some internal factor, or it is the controllable. Then financial factor. Financial means investment. How much amount of you are invested in the industry, that means financial. So if you have to purchase the standard machines, if there is a maximum financial is in your hand, you can purchase the maximum machines. It is in your hand. If the standard equipments are not required, we cannot purchase. If the standard machines are required, we can purchase. It is in your hand. Therefore it will be considered as a internal factor. And last one is a quality control. To maintain the quality of the product, it is also internal factor, because when the quality should be maintained to convert the raw material into the finished goods. When the quality will be maintained to convert the raw material into the finished goods. But during conversion, which transformation process we are using? Because single product, it can be manufactured by using the number of processes. For example, 10 manufacturing processes are there, and by using the 10 number of manufacturing process, we can manufacture the same product. But out of that 10 manufacturing processes, which process is feasible, due to which we can achieve the maximum quality? So I have to use that particular process only, through which the quality of the product can be maintained. Also, to maintain the quality, your equipments, your labors, or your type of materials, it also plays very important role. Labor, it is also one of the internal factor. Types of equipments, which type of equipments we have to use, it also plays as an internal factor. Then material, which type of materials we have to use, that material, it is also one of the internal factor. If all these particular internal factors are works in the effective manner, then and then only your quality of the product will be maintained. Therefore, this quality control, it also one of the internal factor which will be the controllable. Controllable means if I will manage all these particular factors, then your productivity can be increased. It is in our hand to manage all these particular factors. So therefore these factors are called as internal factors, or it is also called as a controllable factors. But exactly opposite, there is some external factors. External means it is uncontrollable. It is not in our hand to control it. And in that also some sub points are there. For example, natural resources. So in order to convert the raw material into the finished goods, sometimes some natural resources are available in the environment. That natural resources we have to use. Natural resources in the sense, some standard woods are required, some standard sand is required, some whatever the resources are available in the naturally. It is not possible to use that particular natural resources directly. It is not in your hand. So for that purpose, we have to take some special permissions from the governments. We have to follow all the government rules, all the government norms, and accordingly we have to achieve that particular natural resources. So this natural resource is one of the external factor which is uncontrollable. It is not in your hand, so we can control it. Then second is the government laws and the policies. It is also external factor. Government laws, if I have to start the new plant, if I have to start a new organization, it is not possible to take the land and directly I can start the industry. So for that purpose, some government laws are there, some government policies are there. So there is some standard areas provided by the government. In that particular areas only we have to start the new organization. For example, MIDC areas. So if I have to start any mechanical industry, or if I have to start any production setup, or if I have to start any production unit, at that time I have to start that particular new layout in the MIDC areas only. It is not possible to start your industry nearby your home or nearby the city or nearby the villages. So we have to follow some standard rules. We have to follow some standard policies, whatever the government has said. According to that policies, according to that laws, we have to start your organization. So this government laws and the policy, it is also external factor, that is uncontrollable factor. This factor we cannot control. So for that purpose, we have to give, or we have to take the special permissions from the external government. Then third one is a infrastructure. Infrastructure is also not in our hand. So whatever the infrastructure we have to use for your organization, so for that particular infrastructure also we have to take the special permissions, because sometimes in the whatever the infrastructure we have implemented, so through that particular infrastructure, if the maximum pollution is taking place and that pollution is affects on the that pollution, if it will affects on the cities which are near to the organization or the villages, at that time we have to provide some controlling devices due to which your pollution can be controlled. Therefore, whatever the infrastructure we are using, that infrastructure is also considered as a one external factor, or it is not in our hand also, therefore it is called as a uncontrollable. Then technical and other training facilities. Next one is a technical and other training facilities. So other training and technical means other training facilities means, so whatever the industries are converting the raw material into the finished goods. So sometimes that workers are unaware about the new technology. The supervisors are also unaware about the new technology. Management is also unaware about the new technology. So for that purpose, what we have to do? We have to take some trainings. We have to take some trainings from the governments or some another resources. So through that particular trainings, for example, initially the supervisors are taking the trainings, and after that, that supervisors are giving the trainings to that particular unskilled operators or the laborers, and according to that particular trainings, that workers can be work. Therefore, whatever other training facilities are there, that training facilities are also not in your hand, because sometimes what happen, your product is finalized. For example, which type of product I have to use, which type of product I have to manufacture that particular product, which type of manufacturing process I have to use. So to manufacture that particular product, to use that particular manufacturing processes, initially we have to conduct some of the trainings. We have to take the trainings from the government or some another organizations, and then only I can go for the implementation of the new organization or the development of new process or development of the new product. Therefore, the technical and other training facilities, it also plays very important role. Then availability of capital. Availability of capital, it is also not in your hand. Some capital investment we can add, but sometimes if that much amount of is not with you at that time, we have to visit to the bankers for your loan processes. So to take that particular loans, we have to follow some standard procedures of that particular bank, standard procedures of the government. And if that government will satisfy with your plant, if it is satisfied with your organization, then only he can sanction the loan for your new business. So availability of capital, sometimes the maximum capital is available with you, we can start your new organization. But whatever the big industries are there, or big organizations are there, so in that case, such types of the organizations can be use the loan facility which is provided by the banks. But to sanction that particular loans, we have to follow the standard procedures and the standard rules of the government, and accordingly your loan can be sanctioned. Then market competition, it is also not in your hand. Market competition, because whatever the products we are manufacturing, same or similar type of the products are already available in the market, means your market competition is there. So whatever the products we are manufacturing, during manufacturing we have to manufacture such products which will be profitable, or which is having the maximum utility as compared to the another products. Sometimes we are manufacturing the product, but that particular products are not accepting in the market, or it is not accepting by the customers, because some another products are available in the less cost due to the maximum market competition. So this market competition is also one of the external factor. It is uncontrollable. If another organization is manufacturing the products, or if it is giving the product for the 50 rupees, and if we are providing the same product in the 55 rupees, the customers will not be attractive. So for that purpose, we have to reduce the cost of your product maybe from 50 to 48, 47. Then your the customers are attracting towards you, and automatically your productivity can be increases. But it is not your hand. Therefore, this market competition, it also one of the external factor, or it is uncontrollable factor. Then structural factor, just now we have discussed, that is infrastructure or the structural factor. Which type of structures we have to provide? Because in the, if you go through the metro cities, maybe in the Bangalore, maybe in the Pune, then Mumbai. So in such types of the cities, there is some limitations to start your or to build your infrastructure. In that particular limitations only, we have to build your structure. If you cross the limit, automatically there may be some action from the government. Therefore, whatever your plant is there, whatever your design is there, that design we have to put in front of the organization, and accordingly If they are giving the sanctions, then and then only we have to start your infrastructure. So these are the some external factors which are uncontrollable. It is not in your hand that we can easily manage. But whatever the previous internal factors we have discussed, which is called as a controllable factors, if we will control all these particular internal factors which is in your hand, your productivity can be increases. External factor, it is not in your hand, but if you will take the proper permission, if you will follow all the government rules, norms, then also your productivity can be increases. But initially it is not in your hand to control all those particular factors. So these are the some internal and external factors which are affects on the total productivity. Means if we will manage all these particular internal and external factors in the proper way, then your productivity can be increases. If we will not manage all these particular factors, automatically your output is decreases. If output is decreases, means your productivity is also goes on decreasing. So these are the some internal and external factors which are affects on the total productivity. Okay. Okay, so we'll take this particular last point and then we will stop. Then just now we have discussed about the internal and external factors which can be controllable, or some of the factors which are uncontrollable. But some of the standard ways are there. Through this particular ways we can increase the productivity. If I will implement this particular ways in your organization, then, or if I will implement such types of the techniques in the industry, then your productivity can be increased. Therefore, way to improve the productivity or the productivity improvement techniques. So whatever the block diagram is in front of you, at the center there is a productive improvement techniques, and whatever the five technologies are represented. So these are the techniques. If I will implement, or if I will add such types of the technologies in the industry, so your productivity can be increased. Now first one is the technology based. This is the first way to increase the productivity. Technology based means which type of technology we are using in the industry. Based on that also your productivity can be increased. For example, CAD, computer aided design, or we can consider it as a CAM, computer aided manufacturing. If the computer aided design facility or computer aided manufacturing processes, if such types of the processes or such types of technology can be introduced in the industry, means your productivity can be increases. If we are using all the manually operated devices, through the manually operated devices it is not possible to achieve that much amount of quality, or it is not possible to reduce the maximum amount of production cost. But if I will implement the CAD facility, so due to that particular CAD facility there is a minimum errors can be taking place, or there is a minimum risk to perform all the type of operation. Therefore, if I will implement the CAD facility, that means computer aided design facility, then your productivity can be increased. Using the CAD means we are implementing the new technology. Similarly, along with CAD, if I will implement the CAM, computer aided manufacturing, means your CNC operated machines or VMC operated machines, or there is some standard robots are also there, some laser technologies are there. If I will use such types of the standard technologies in the industry, then also there is a chances to increase the productivity. Using the standard technology, using the CNC, VMC, using the robots, using the laser technology, means we are using the standard technology. So due to that particular standard technology, whatever the amount of time is required to convert the raw material into the finished goods, that time it will get reduced. Then due to the automation, whatever the labors are required, that labors are also get reduced. In addition to that, so whatever the wastage is taking place, that wastage is also going to reduce due to the using of this particular advanced technology. Therefore, technology based means we have to implement the CAD, CAM, then some robotics technology, laser technology, some modern maintenance technology. So implementation of all the new technology means increase the productivity. Then second is a material based. Now what is mean by the material based? So whatever the raw materials are converted into the finished good, during that particular raw material we have to go for the proper material planning and its control. Sometimes the raw materials are converted into the finished goods, but during that conversion the maximum wastage is taking place. During the conversion of raw material into the finished goods, the maximum wastage is taking place. So in order to reduce that particular wastage means we have to focus on this particular technology, that is material based. Means we have to go for the proper planning of the material and its proper control. We have to go for the proper planning of the material and the proper control. Okay, the material based means here the 2 points are very important, that is material planning and material control. Material planning means if I have to manufacture this particular product, so this type of material I have to provide, and once I have provided that particular material, now during the conversion of that particular material into the finished goods, we have to focus on its control also, because what happen, sometimes the quality of the product can be maintained, but during the maintaining that particular quality, maximum wastage will be taking place. So in order to avoid such types of the wastage, this technology, which material based technology, also we have to implement in the industry. If we will maintain, or if we will do the proper planning, if I will do the proper planning of the material, or if I will control the proper, or if I will control the flow of that particular material, then also the productivity can be increased. Then material storage. Before the raw material is converted into the finished goods, whatever the storage is provided to that particular raw material, and after the finished products, wherever we are keeping that particular finished product, so the proper storage devices is also provided in this particular material based technology. If we'll maintain all these particular things, then your productivity can be increased. Then waste elimination, just now I have told. So while converting the raw material into the finished goods, we are maintaining the quality, no problem. But while maintaining the quality, the maximum wastage is taking place. Or sometimes some unskilled operators are using that particular machines. So due to that unskilled operator, that worker is unable to handle that particular machine. Therefore, maximum times there is a maximum elimination of the material is taking place, or the maximum wastage is taking place. So to avoid the such types of the situations, we have to provide the standard of workers and the with minimum elimination of that particular material. And last point is the material recycling and the material reuse. Once the maximum amount of material is eliminated, maximum wastage is taking place, but afterwards we have to think about that, whether that wasted material can be reused again, or by performing some recycling processes on that particular material, and after that can we use that particular material again for the manufacturing. On that particular part also we have to focus. Therefore, material planning and its control, then material storage before manufacturing, after manufacturing, waste elimination, and material recycling and the reuse. These are all the factors which will be considered in the material based techniques. If we will manage all these particular things, then your productivity can be increased. Or this material based, it is one of the technology, or it is one of the techniques which is used to improve the productivity. Then next one is a employee based. Just now we have discussed employee based means it is one of the internal factor. Employee based means it is one of the internal factor which we have to manage. It is in your hand, that is which type of employees we have to provide in the organization. Therefore, wherever the skilled operators are required to handle the CNC, VMC, for such types of the machines, we can provide the skilled operators. But wherever the unskilled operators are required, that means to shift the components from one station to the another station, or to shift the component from workstation to the storage devices. For such types of the activities, we can provide the unskilled operators. Therefore, wherever the requirements are there, we can provide the skilled operator. Wherever the unskilled operators are required, for such locations, we can provide the unskilled operator. In addition to that, some employee promotion scheme, it should be also provided in the industry. Some of the workers are there, they are working for maximum 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours in the same organization. So for such types of the workers, we have to provide the promotion schemes, because some of the workers are there, they are started from the uh, uh, minimum range. Maybe they are working as an operator. After that, they are working as a supervisor. If he got the maximum experience, then such types of the supervisors can be converted into the production engineer or design engineer or industrial engineer, or maybe it can be shifted to the R&D department. So such types of the employee promotion scheme, it should be also provided in this particular employee based technique. Then personal developments of the workers. So whatever the workers are performing their job very sincerely, so through that particular working condition, through this particular organization, the personal development of that particular worker, it should be also taking place. Personal development means that workers are upgrading their knowledge. Initially, some of the workers are there, they are handling the machines, but due to that handling the machines, or maybe some another workers, they can do the some another courses of the CAD, then some courses of the ANSYS, so they can upgrade their knowledge. So due to that particular upgradation, we have to provide the such types of the schemes also in the employee based techniques. So the overall development or the personal development of that particular worker or employee is also going to taking place. Then workers participation in the decision making. Workers participation in the decision making. So decision making is one of the important process in the industry. Sometimes so many problems are arises in the industry, and on that particular problems, some of the higher authority, maybe management, some of the supervisors, they are thinking about that. But in that particular thinking, if we add the workers also to take the decisions, then you will get the solutions immediately. Therefore, whatever the problems we are facing in the industry, so if we'll provide such types of the problems to the workers, therefore that workers can also think about that particular problems, and they can give the decisions or they can give the solutions. So such types of the flexible system for the employees, if we will implement such types of the flexible systems in the industry, which is called as a employee based techniques, then also we increase productivity. Next point is the task based. It is called as a task based. Task based means whatever the task is given to the management, if that management will perform their task, automatic productivity can be increased. Whatever the task is given to the supervisor, if he is satisfied that particular task, again, if you will satisfy their task, again the productivity can be increased. Whatever the task is given to that particular worker or laborers or the operators, if they are perform their particular task in within time, whatever the time period is given, then also your productivity can be increased. Sometimes what happen, the operators are doing their particular job and he has to finish their work in 8 hours, but he is taking the 10 hours. Means whatever the task is assigned to you, he is performing that particular task, but he is taking the maximum 2 hours to perform that particular task. Means their production cost is increases, and automatically your productivity can be decreased. Therefore, whatever the task is assigned to the sorry whatever the task is assigned to the management, to the supervisors, to the laborers, they have to satisfy, they have to complete their task in given period. If the task can be completed in given period or in minimum period, then also your productivity can be increased. Because sometimes 8 hours are given to you, but some of the workers, they can finish their work in 7 hours only. That means you have saved 1 hour production time. Then also we can say that your productivity can be increased. And last point is the product based. It is also one of the internal factor. Just now we have finished some of the internal factors and some of the external factors. In that, technology based, it is also one of the internal factor. Which type of technology we have to use, it is in our hand, therefore it is controllable. Material, which type of materials are used, how it can be provided, it is also in your hand. Employee, it is also controllable factor. Task, it is also controllable factor. And the product, which type of products we are manufacturing, and for the manufacturing of that particular product, which type of manufacturing process we are using, that all these particular factors will be considered in the product based condition. That means it is also one of the internal factors. That means it is also controllable factor. It is also in our hand. That means which type of products I have to manufacture, and to manufacture that particular product, which type of technology, which type of manufacturing process I have to use. Therefore, these are the some standard techniques, or these are the some ways through which we can increase the productivity. In the productivity based concept, again, some another factors are also considered. For example, value analysis and the value engineering. The value analysis and the value engineering, it is one of the important factor. Value analysis means whatever the products we are manufacturing, we have to go for its assessment. Whatever the products we are manufacturing, we have to go for its assessments, means we have to perform some testing on that particular product, and through that particular testing we have to go for the value analysis and the value engineering. In addition to that, we have to provide some standardization and the simplification. Standardization means whatever the manufacturing process we are using to convert that particular raw material into the finished goods. So to that particular manufacturing process, we have to give some standardizations. If that particular manufacturing process is taking the minimum time to convert the raw material into the finished goods, means we have to provide some standardization to that particular techniques. In addition to that, we have to go for the simplification of the process or simplification of the products. Simplification means easy to use. So whatever the number of operations we are performing on the raw material, while performing that particular operations, there should be the simplifications. The number of operators are working on that particular products. While working on that particular products, that workstation or that particular product, it can be easily accessible, or whatever the machineries are available, that machineries should be easily accessible to that particular workers. So that all these particular components or all these particular factors, it will be considered under the product based techniques. So these are the 5 techniques or the 5 ways. Through this particular ways, we can increase the productivity. These are the similar to the internal factors. Technology, it is the controllable, means interlable, material, employee, task, and the product. So whatever the internal factors, that is controllable factors we have discussed just now, same are there, which is in front of you, but it is called as a way to improve the productivity or the productivity improvement techniques. If I will implement all these particular 5 techniques in the organization and the industry in the proper way, then your productivity can be increased. So this is about the some standard techniques or standard ways to increase the productivity of that particular organization. And in addition to that, again, some standard techniques are available. That is, these are the 4 standard techniques. That is, first technique is the Jidoka. This is one of the Japanese techniques. Jidoka is one of the Japanese techniques which is used to improve the productivity. Then what is mean by the Jidoka? That is man-machine interface. It will not take the defect, not accept defect. Jidoka is one of the standard Japanese techniques which is developed to increase the productivity, and the Jidoka technique is correlated with the man-machine interface. As I have told again and again, that is man, machine, and the material. These are the 3 input resources which are works together in the proper manner. So in the Jidoka, what they have represented, he has represented the proper interface or the proper relation between the man and machine. If there is a proper interfacing or the proper integration is there in between man and machine, then your system or your manufacturing process, your organization can be works in the effective manner. If it is works in the effective manner, the efficiency of your organization can be increases. If efficiency is increases, then productivity can be increases. And in this particular technique, in the Jidoka techniques, it cannot be take any defect, or it cannot be accept any defect. It cannot be take any defect. That means in manufacturing process, any type of defect cannot be accepted in this particular Jidoka techniques, or it will also not take, it will not accept, as well as it will not take any type of defect while implementing this particular Jidoka in the any manufacturing process. Then second, Heijunka. It is also one of the Japanese technique. Jidoka is one of the Japanese technique. Heijunka, it is also one of the Japanese techniques which is used to increase the productivity. Then what this particular technique it will indicate? Reducing the lead time by minimizing time losses due to the frequent process changes. Reducing the lead time by minimizing the time losses due to the frequent process changes. What happened while converting the raw material into the finished goods? Many times we are changing its manufacturing process. That means we have to implement this process. Sometimes we are implementing this. Sometimes we are implementing this. Due to the change in manufacturing process continuously, due to the change in manufacturing process continuously, the timing of that particular manufacturing process is goes on increasing. So in order to avoid such types of the situations, in order to avoid the increasing time of that particular process, this Heijunka is one of the Japanese process which is also implemented in some of the standard industries, due to which your productivity can be increased. Then third one is a Kaizen. In many of the Indian industries, this particular Kaizen techniques, it is implemented in the so many industries. So Kaizen means again, it is a proper relation between man, machine and the material. As per the Kaizens, if the proper integration of man, machine and material, or proper integration of all input resources is taking place in the good way, then you will get the maximum output. If you will get the maximum output in less number of inputs, means your output is increases as well as your productivity can be also increases. So this is the Kaizen is one of the standard techniques which is also implemented in the industry. And last techniques which we have to discuss in detail, which is called as a method study. Method study, or sorry, work study. Whatever the last technique is there, which we have to discuss in detail, which is called as a work study. That work study again furtherly divided into the two types. First one is called as a method study and second one is called as a work measurement. The work study, this is the concept which is again divided into the two types. In that first one is a method study and second one is a work measurement. Now what is meant by the work study? So just now I have explained, this is the term which is related to the two techniques, that is method study and the work measurement. The work study, it is one of the concepts or of the techniques which is furtherly divided into the two types. First one is called as a method study and second one is called as a work measurement. Then what is meant by the method study? So many times I have explained the concept of the method study. Method study means, simple definition I will tell, eliminate the unnecessary operations and from that we have to select the best method. Method study means eliminate the unnecessary operations and we have to select the best effective method by reducing the cost. What happen in the industry? If we have to manufacture the new product, if new product we have to manufacture, means we have to prepare the new technique to manufacture that particular product. So while developing the new technique to manufacture the new products, at that time we have to consider the concept of method study. In addition to that, if I have to go for the changes in the existing process, whatever the process already available, and in that particular process if I have to go for the some modifications, such types of the modifications also we can do by using this particular method study concept. So if you read this particular definition, method study is the recording and the examination of existing process. Method study means it is the recording and the examination of existing process, means developing and applying the effective method by reducing the cost. Recording and examination. Recording means whatever the existing process already available, we have to focus on this particular existing process and we have to go for the examination. If any problems are there in that particular existing process, we have to go for the examination, and whatever the unnecessary operations are there, that unnecessary operations we have to eliminate. Means we have to develop the new and the effective method by reducing the cost. So in bracket I have written develop more economical method for doing the work. In short, I can say that method study means develop more economical method for doing the work. That means only we have to eliminate the unnecessary operations. We have to eliminate the unnecessary operations, and by eliminating that unnecessary operations, if I will develop the new method, that concept is called as a method study. And then what is meant by the work measurement? Work measurement is related to the measurement of standard time for the developed process. Work measurement means development of, sorry, work measurement means measurement of standard time which is required for the new process. So in the method study, what we have done, either we are doing the modification in the existing process, or either we are developing the new process. If new process is developed, so for this particular new process, how much amount of standard time is required, that time can be measured by using the concept of work measurement. This is the one thing. If we have done the modification in the existing process, for example, existing process is taking the time of 10 hours, but in that, if I have done some modifications, and after the modifications, if I will measure its standard time, and if that modification will give that due to the modification, now this process is taking the time of 9 hours, means due to the modification in the existing process, 1 hour time is reduced. Means we have done the work measurement of that particular existing process, or we have done the work measurement of the new process. Therefore please keep in mind, work measurement means to measure the standard time required to perform the operation. Work measurement means the standard time required to perform the operation. Therefore, in bracket, I have written in simple language to determine the standard time for doing the operation or the work. What is meant by the work measurement? To determine the standard time for doing the operations or the work. So please identify the difference between the method study and the work measurement. In method study, only we are changing the manufacture process, only we are developing the manufacturing process, but we are not measuring it. So for measuring the existing process, for measuring the new process, we are implementing the second concept which is called as a work measurement. That means in method study, only we are doing the modification in the new process or in the existing process, but whatever the time we are measuring, that time we are measuring in the second concept, that is work measurement, means measure the standard time. Therefore in simple I can say that method study means develop more economical method for doing the work, and work measurement means to determine the standard time for doing the work or to eliminate the ineffective time. In method study, eliminate the unnecessary operations, and work measurement means to eliminate the ineffective time. So these are the two concepts which are correlated with the work study. Therefore the work study concept is furtherly divided into the two types, which is called as a method study, means eliminate the unnecessary operations, and second one is a work measurement, means to eliminate the ineffective time or to calculate the standard time required to perform the operations. So this is the basic difference between the method study and the work measurement. So this is also represented in the graphical way. Just wait for the 1 minute. Okay, again, just wait. Okay, again the same concept is represented in the form of block diagram, that is work study. Here the work study is present at the left side, and furtherly the work study is divided into the two types. That is, first one is a method study, which represents the elimination of unnecessary operations and development of the new method. And again, this is the work measurement, which is also the second type of the work study. That is, work measurement means to determine the standard time. But this is the work measurement. It is the step which will be taking place after the method study only. The work study is furtherly divided into the two types, method study and the work measurement. But whatever the work measurement step we have to perform, it will be taking place after the method study only, because in method study we are doing the modification in the previous manufacturing process. In method study only we are doing the modification in the previous process only, or we are developing the new methods. Therefore, after development of new process, after doing the modification in the previous process, then and then only I can go for the work measurement. If there is no any modification in the existing process, if there is no any development of new process, it is not possible to measure the standard time required for that particular process. Therefore, after using the concept of method study, or after implementing the concept of method study in the industry, then and then only we can go for the implementation of the work measurement. And if both the techniques are managed in the proper way, then there is a possibility to increase the productivity. If I will manage, or if I will apply the concept of method study in the proper way, if I will do the measurement of standard time for each and every operation in the proper way, and from that it can be easily observed that the amount of time required is very less. Or through the concept of method study, if I can say that the all the unnecessary operations are eliminated in the work measurement, if I can say that only this much amount of standard time is required to perform the operation, if all these particular concepts are satisfied their requirements, then I can say that productivity can be increased. Therefore, this method study and the work measurement, these two concepts are depends on the each other. If I have developed a new technique, for new technique I have to go for the work measurement. If I have done the modification in the existing process, then also I have to go for the work measurement. Therefore, the name itself suggests that work measurement means केलेल्या कामाचं टायमिंग काढणं, म्हणजेच आपण त्याला काय म्हणतो, वर्क मेजरमेंट. त्यामुळं मेथड स्टडी मध्ये फक्त आपल्याला मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग प्रोसेस मध्ये चेंजेस करायचे, एकतर जुनी प्रोसेस मॉडिफाय करा किंवा नवीन प्रोसेस डेव्हलप करा, ह्याला म्हणतात मेथड स्टडी. आणि वर्क मेजरमेंट मध्ये काय करायचंय, जर तुम्ही नवीन प्रोसेस मॅन्युफॅक्चर केली असेल तर त्या नवीन प्रोसेससाठी किती टाइम लागतोय त्याचं मेजरमेंट करणं म्हणजे वर्क मेजरमेंट करणं. किंवा जर तुम्ही मॉडिफिकेशन एक्झिस्टिंग प्रोसेस मध्ये जर केलं असेल तर मॉडिफिकेशन केल्यामुळं त्याचा किती टाइम कमी झाला ते मेजर करणं म्हणजेच वर्क मेजरमेंट. अँड इफ आय विल मॅनेज द मेथड स्टडी अँड वर्क मेजरमेंट सायमल्टेनियसली, सो युअर प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी कॅन बी increase. Therefore, the concept of the work study, it is furtherly divided into the two types, method study and the work measurement. But the work measurement will be taking place after the method study, and if both are managed in the proper way, then your productivity can be increased. So this is about the work study, or it is one of the standard tool which is used to increase the productivity. So these are the four techniques we have discussed. Judoka, Japanese technique. Kenjunka, it is also Japanese techniques. Kaizen, it is also one of the maybe Japanese or maybe Indian techniques. And the work study, which is mostly used in the industry, which is also one of the standard techniques to improve the productivity. And in detail, we have discussed about the work study in the form of concept of method study and in the form of concept of work measurement. And in addition to that, how the method study and the work measurement, it plays important role to increase the productivity, that also we have discussed through this particular block diagram also. Okay, so this is about the components or the functions of the work study. Then importance of the work study. What is the use? Just now we have discussed. It helps to achieve the smooth production flow. Work study, it plays very important role for the smooth production flow. It helps reduce the cost of the product. If I will eliminate the unnecessary operation, then automatically the cost of the product is goes on decreasing. Then utilization of scrap or the material. If I will eliminate the unnecessary operation or in minimum time, if I will achieve the maximum product, then also your scrap material or scrap of that particular product, it can be reduced. To achieve the better working condition, wherever the operators are doing their particular job, which type of working stations are provided, which type of machines are provided, which types of working conditions are there, that also considered in the form of work study. Then to establish the standard time for the operation, if I will performing 10 operations on one product, so measurement of time of each operation means it is called as a work measurement. For first operation 10 minutes are required, for second operation 15 minutes are required, so for third operation again 10 minutes of required. So we have to calculate the operation time of each and every operation, and at the end I have to do the addition, and after the addition I can say that this much amount of standard time is required to perform or to convert that raw material into the finished product. And last one is it helps for the standardization. In the method study, we are doing the modification in the existing process. In method study, we are doing the modification in the existing process, means we are going for this standardization. Or sometimes in the method study, we are developing the new technique for the new product, means again we are going or we are moving towards the standardization of that particular product. Once your process is standardized, once your product is standardized, then the standardization, it plays very important role in order to increase the productivity. Therefore in the work study we have to manage only two conditions, that is method study means we have to eliminate the unnecessary operations, and second means we have to measure the standard time required for the each and every operations. So this is the important role of the work study in order to increase the productivity, or these are also again some output. If I will implement the concept of work study in the organization, your production flow will be smooth, your cost of the product will get decreases, utilization of scrap material is also taking place, then we can find the standard time for that particular job, and at the end we can say that you will get some standardization for that particular process or the standardization for that particular product. So this is the importance of that particular work study concept. Okay, so with this today we will stop here. Some another techniques are there, 2-3 points are there that we will discuss in the next lecture.